What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Wayne James, and guys, your boy's laying back and chilling and relaxing. Your boy about to go back to work tomorrow, but I'm dropping y'all some bangers, man. Today we are reacting to the fall of New York drill, and as you may know, born and raised in the Bronx. I can't tell you the whole part, but if you know, you know. Like, comment, subscribe, man. We on the road to 400 subs.
It's undeniable that New York was the birthplace of hip hop, and for a long time, it was the epicenter of that cultural world. In fact, it wasn't until the 90s rise of the West Coast that this dominance was even challenged. But as the West lost steam and the Dirty South rose, New York, once the heart of hip hop, started to fade into the background. And as the culture's former hub struggled to regain its footing, everyone pointed fingers at everyone else, with Mano saying,
You couldn't be mad at a ASAP Rocky for getting on and saying that he was influenced by Houston music.
and Joe Budden arguing,
Me and 50 are the end of New York. My signing, the 50 signing, after that, it was the South. That was Walk It Out came out, and I'm blaming 50 and Ebro. I think both of them in combination killed it. Hey, you hear all the Atlanta say it now, they laugh at us. It's all that unity shit. In New York, though, nah, that wasn't the case back then. Ebro wasn't playing nobody in New York. ASAP Rocky has to feel like that. Know why? Ebro wasn't playing no ASAP Rocky. They was looking everywhere else but New York.
sadly, those old vets would be stuck reminiscing about the good old days and trying to assess what went wrong. And while they were all waiting around to find a new star to be given the torch, a new sound ignited the East Coast and put the Empire State back on the map. The music was New York drill, and for a long time, it seemed primed to take over the world. But as engaging as the music was, it came with a whole lot of baggage that threatened to derail it all at a moment's notice.
Drill rap, the latest evolution in hip hop's 50-year history in New York City. But it's often been linked to violence. And just yesterday, a popular drill rapper known as Chef G was one of 32 gang members charged in a string of violence that left one person dead and dozen others injured. But some are trying to change the perception of drill rap.
And unfortunately, the worst has happened. Because now, the momentum has all but withered away to nothing, due to a wide array of circumstances and tragic mishaps that either cut careers short, or sadly, even people's time on Earth.
Yeah.
And
Nah, I ain't gonna lie though. You can't show that, bro. That's crazy, bro. I remember that day, man. But RP to Pop Smoke, man. They recorded the aftermath of him getting stretched out and put him in the ambulance, yo. I can't. I don't even like watching types of shit like this, man. But everybody in the world want to see that shit, boy. Y'all weird as hell, bro.
it wouldn't be the
That's all I
last
gotta tell
time
ya.
New York drill saw its brightest stars cut down before they could shine.
RP
Across
to
the
Pop.
course of its history, this drill
Actually,
scene has
RP
been
to all the-
unfortunately defined
all the
by
fallen
promising
soldiers, man.
artists not being able to make the most of their hype through adverse circumstances. And unfortunately, this goes all the way back to the man who first brought the subgenre to commercial prominence.
Doesn't set New York back. We still created hip hop. We still have Sedgwick. We're and Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda be home soon.
Back in 2014, when Hot first dropped, Bobby Shmurda became a global phenomenon. The track earned him a major deal with Epic Records, and at the time, it looked like he had unlimited potential.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I remember that when I first heard that when you heard it you be us some hot nigga. Like our boy talked to Shiesty when he got shot. Yo, that when I heard that, when you heard that beat playing, and the do, yo, it get turned up, bro. Like literally, I feel like Hot Nigga is like the fucking a Brooklyn anthem, or Brooklyn. Y'all gotta be honest. For people who live in Brooklyn, y'all people they live in Brooklyn or in the Bronx or New York. Y'all gotta tell me that this gonna be a forever Brooklyn anthem, bro. I'm telling you.
But that momentum was cut short when a RICO case sent not only Bobby, but his entire GS9 crew to prison. Even then, he built goodwill after taking a plea deal that gave him more time behind.
Upgrade my bedroom with me. I've had my old mattress.
At least
for
he
over
didn't
11
rat
plus
like
years,
other
so
these
trust
other
me,
rappers,
need
bro.
it.
I don't call out other rappers, but like, at least he don't snitch, bro. At least he didn't tell. He took that shit like a G. I remember they said it was and I feel like I don't know if I could recap or recall. They said Rowdy Rebel got out. It's supposed to be Bobby who was supposed to get out first, and then Rowdy gotta get out second. But nah, Rowdy said, "You go out first. I take that like a man." So he holding the fort. So Rowdy got out first, and then after that, Bobby got out. So that's how you know. That's how you know he's like a real official. He's a real official nigga, bro. I'm telling you. If your homies do that for you, bro, that will be a forever day one, bro. That's
So
all I'm
Rowdy
telling
Rebel could come home earlier. When he finally came out the penitentiary, Bobby's street credibility made his stream skyrocket by more than 624%. Yet,
Damn.
instead of building on that hype, his comeback fell flat. Allegations, weak records, and underwhelming performances dragged his name down to the point where he couldn't even sell out small venues and had to cancel his entire tour. Now, with his career nearing wreckage, Bobby has turned to blaming everyone but himself.
We got a mini tour coming up. I'm be releasing soon. I want y'all to get ready for that. And I also want to apologize to all the blogs. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I shot somebody's sister when I was growing up. I don't know if I shot somebody's brother. I don't know if I robbed somebody when I was growing up. But this week, and the next week, I'm gonna be posting a lot of things that we're gonna be doing, and I do want some support from the blogs. Not that support that the all the support that I'm getting from, like, you know, academics, No Jumper, Angelina Jolie, whatever the name is. You know what I'm saying? Because the point blank, yeah, they hating. But listen. I just want this to say, I'm be dropping a lot of music, right? And the point that don't support what I'm doing, but they support all the bullshit that going on, all the fake shit that doing. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Since then, the man who got famous for blatantly discussing real crimes is now turning against hip-hop culture and claiming it's damaging to society.
And when these kids are following you guys and you're rapping about these lifestyles, it's in danger. It's very detrimental. You know what I'm saying? It's very dangerous to the communities that these little kids think that is going on, that you did not even live. I think rap's supposed to be telling motherfuckers to go from negative to positive, coming from poverty to going to riches or stuff like that, and how to stay in that and how to change. That's the shit I want to hear. I want to hear about living life. That's why I don't listen to rap. For real, I don't listen to rap.
Although hip-hop is supposed to provide that aspirational rags to riches story, there are way too many modern examples where this isn't something that can be sustained. And while Bobby at least still has the outside chance of redeeming himself, the legacies of others are now in the hands of their estates after they were tragically killed before their time. Here, we have none other than the late great Pop Smoke. For a brief moment, Pop Smoke looked like the man who could carry Brooklyn drill to the top. With his gruff, unmistakable voice and natural superstar swagger, the Meet the Woo mixtapes made it clear he had something special. Tracks like Dior and Welcome to the Party were ringing out worldwide when tragedy struck. Just a week after Meet the Woo 2 peaked at number 7 on the charts, Pop Smoke was killed in a Hollywood Hills Airbnb during a botched robbery. Overnight, New York drill lost its brightest star, and without him, the scene scrambled for a replacement, leading to imitators like Dusty Locane, whose career became defined by constant comparisons to Pop.
Yeah, the voice.
Pop Smoke, greatest to do it. You know that. You entitled to your opinion. You don't know me. It's just if you believe that, stick to that. Don't switch when you see now. I'm up. You feel me? I'm living better. I'm doing better. If you believe that at some point in time I'm trying to be somebody or whatever the case may be. Elementary mostly, he left around 5th grade, 66, anybody who know. Yeah. But yeah, we used to do like growing up, me, Mikey, Stag, Ace, all of us, you feel me, went to that same school. So it's like, that's why Pop got lit. I didn't try to, I grew up with him, I know him. Cause I feel like you gotta give people, this his shine, it's his time, you feel me? I feel like that's an attachment. People feel like I gotta get attached cause I knew him. Yeah. You know, that's not really, that wasn't really my bop.
But any hope of occupying the same spot was almost immediately ruled out when Pop's grieving brother, Obasi Jackson, came at him for what he viewed as a blatant attempt to hop on the wave.
Pop died. Niggas took Pop from us too soon. So niggas is trying to figure out who the next Pop. But little do niggas know, there is no next Pop. There is nobody could sound like him. Y'all could take word for word, but there's a vibe, there's a blessing that came with Pop Smoke that niggas do not have, you feel me? Yeah, I ain't trying to tell niggas don't eat, you feel me? That ain't my mission right now. My mission is saying, yo, if you are one of those people that sound like Pop, find your own style. Because it will come to a point where it will have to end. Don't you understand? And my thing is just that yo, bro, I'm not sitting here trying to hear knockoffs. You feel me? Like, we want to hear the real deal. But if you're trying to copy Pop Smoke, there's no benefit to that.
And initially, it seemed like the man to fill the hole left by Pop was Pop himself. Courtesy of the shady businesses of posthumously released records, he would secure a #1 album with Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. Initially, this project was met with a lot of enthusiasm and felt like a fitting encapsulation of everything the young artist was about, particularly because it was put together by people who truly cared, such as 50 Cent.
The parties involved that aren't necessarily doing it for the same reasons I'm doing it, meaning they're invested in financially.
Yeah, you ain't taking no bread from this. Yeah.
I don't care. I'm doing it only based on the culture and what I would in my relationship with Pop Smoke. That's it. You see what I'm saying? So if you go, I wouldn't be working with these people. You see what I'm saying? So I don't have to develop the relationship to do something that I would like to do for Pop Smoke. As soon as I know that the record is positioning itself as #1, I feel like I did enough.
But while Pop's first posthumous album was
Oh my gosh, yo. I want to hear the details, yo.
praised, the follow-up Faith was almost universally panned, seen as a corporate cash-in. Pop's manager Steven Victor caught backlash, and even Pusha T was denounced for promoting his own album on what was supposed to be Pop's project. Rowdy Rebel, calling out the label directly, wrote, "Shaking my head, I don't understand why my boy is not on this track. You know these industry dudes is straight suckers." Pop's close friend and producer Mike D was also blindsided, admitting, "I had no involvement in my dog's album. Didn't even know an album was dropping until it got broadcasted on the internet." With no more unreleased music left in the vault, Pop's catalog ended on a sour note, and today, his name is more likely to appear in controversy, like when Adam 22 gave a platform to Pop's killers. One of them, Blockstar, even explained why the trigger was pulled, saying it was simply because things were getting out of hand.
No one was intended to get hurt that night?
Nobody's intended to get hurt. I don't know, we was just kids being kids from the hood, and too much movement from everybody.
In the house?
Too much shit going on, it was too much shit going on, so it's like, it wasn't intentional.
As for his recently granted release, Blockstar had no argument when it came to questions of whether he should still be inside.
They right, I did get off too lightly.
Yeah, California be like that now.
But yeah, that's how it is, California. Well, I mean, I can't say what I wish happened to me, but honestly, I wish on nobody.
But perhaps most shockingly of all, he also refused to say sorry for what happened. Now elevated to legend status, the sad thing when it comes to Pop is that if he was still around, then New York drill might be in far better health than it currently is. Because while some of the modern stars possess elements of what he had, they can't seem to be able to join up the dots. And a prime example of that comes in the form of a man who was actively co-signed by Pop.
He's about to pull up Fabio.
Oh, yeah. That record's crazy.
Foreign.
Yeah, Fabio Foreign.
Remember I told y'all.
Okay.
Fabio.
I seen he just got the deal, too.
He not with us. He not with them.
Right. But he
labeled them, but he with us.
Fact.
Yeah. You understand?
Fact.
It's like hard.
Exploding onto the scene with breakout hits like Big Drip, people could be forgiven for assuming that Fabio Foreign emerged fully formed as a star in the making. But in actual fact, the Brooklyn MC who was signed to Mace's Rich Fish label had previously rhymed under the name Light Fabio. And even as he initially garnered success, the long-standing mystery over his age became a meme. Despite claiming he was around the same age as his teenage contemporaries, the 2011 video for Boss resurfaced, with Fabio appearing way back when drinking alcohol and being extensively tatted up.
Ain't nobody better be. Swag on point like the letter.
And from then on out, people struggled to take anything he said about his age or background at face value.
I had to change. I had to grow up instantly. I mean,
okay, like how old were you at the time?
I was. What year is this now? 2020. It's not 4 years ago.
2016.
I was 4 years ago. No,
2000.
Now it's 2020, right?
Yeah.
That was 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah. So for 4 years, I was I got signed for the past year, but after that, I guess I still had the crib for a little while, cause they can't kick you right out. But then it was over. So I've been outside. I was outside. I call it outside. I don't really call it I just call it outside. I was outside for 3 years.
Okay, because at one point you were working at White Castle.
In high school, 9th grade.
Okay.
9th, 10th, 11th, one of them grades. I was working with my girlfriend at the time.
He said Chief Keef influenced him to rap, but this was 2011. Fabio always asked the year because he got to do the math to figure out what age he should be. Just say you 30 and keep it moving. 30? He's like 40. Despite the doubts, Fabio pushed forward, and in the wake of Pop's passing, many saw him as the next man to carry New York drill. His biggest moment came with Kanye West. His feature on Off the Grid led to another album on his debut album, Bible. That project opened at number 9 with 29,000 units. Respectable, but nowhere near the momentum Pop once had. Since then, Fabio hasn't charted, and his 2023 EP Without Warning landed with barely a ripple. Instead, he's becoming an easy target for trolling. Whether it was beefing with Blackboy Max alongside Lil TJ, or getting a Timberland boot tattoo that felt less like a proud nod to New York street culture and more like pure cringe. This dude gets older and dumber every year. The public's growing disrespect is only part of the story. Like many of his peers, Fabio also ran into serious legal trouble. On New
The busier I am, the worse I eat. Factor's delicious dinners saved my partner and me from days-old leftovers.
New Year's Day in New Jersey, he allegedly threatened a woman with a gun during a parking dispute. He was hit with multiple charges, including weapons possession, aggravated assault, and terroristic threats. In the end, a guilty plea to third-degree terroristic threats cut his time down to 196 days served, sparing him a long sentence. Since then, Fabio has kept working, but it hasn't really added up to much. And while he still has his freedom, plenty of other New York drill stars never even got the chance to see how far their careers could go because instead of studios, they're stuck in cells. One of the brightest examples is K-Flock. Among the many drill prospects now behind bars, none had more momentum than K-Flock. Allegedly tied to the 700 devs, the YGs, and his own crew, the OGs, K spent much of his youth in and out of juvenile detention, and it was there where he first started rapping. Pushed by his friend and mentor B-Love, K began dropping tracks that quickly caught fire. Songs like Opspada and PSA pulled in tens of millions of streams, and with a Lil TJ cosign, his buzz exploded. By late 2021, Capitol Records had signed them to a deal rumored to be around $3 million.
Damn.
But just 1 month after releasing the acclaimed DOA tape, his career came to a halt. K was arrested in connection with the killing of a 24-year-old by the name of Oscar Hernandez, a case that's remained murky ever since. Early reports claim K walked into a barbershop, antagonized Hernandez, and sparked a shootout. But K has always said it was self-defense.
See, look, listen to what he's saying. He's saying, I respect it, but you gotta do more research, my guy, bro. He say he walked into the fucking. Listen to it. Wait, hold on. False report. Hold on, let me hear it. Let me hear it again, cause I don't like how people be. You know how when you know content creators and all that doing research and shit, they be flipping the narrative search and say, yo, he was the prime aggressor or some type of shit, bro. I don't feel like nobody's a prime aggressors in this shit, bro. Like, yo, K-Flock caught well, it was self-defense, bro. I don't care what everybody said, bro. I don't even care what the fucking NYPD gotta say, bro. If a nigga is coming at you with a pole, bro, you gotta use that shit, bro. I don't give a fuck, bro. If you have to do it, you gotta do it. You gotta dealt with that shit, bro. And that's what they don't understand about this. It's like, yo, you ever thought your life will be like you walking by yourself or you walking in the street and some weirdo ass nigga come out of nowhere and just, yo, I want your money. If you don't want your money, bye-bye. And after that, all of a sudden, you don't got nothing to do. You can't call, you can't tell, yo, I'm getting chased. You can't, yo, I'm gonna die. Please, somebody save me. Nobody wasn't there. They was mind their own business and all that. Nigga, you gotta do what you gotta do, bro. I'm speaking as I don't experience this shit, but yo, if I was in, I say I don't experience, but if I was in that situation like that, bro, nigga, I will go to jail for that shit, bro. I'm standing on my word. It's self-defense, bro. I don't care if y'all call it guilty or is a no. But thank God he beat the murder case, bro. Like, I don't care. The other charges he got, that's fine. But at least he beat the murder case, bro. Free that man. Free that nigga, bro. That's the only one savior for the Bronx, drill, to come back alive, bro. Cause all these other rappers, though, they trying to make a name for themselves. I mean, not M. Dot or the other ones. But yo, the only one person that can save is K-Flock. That's all I gotta say. And I'm not a meat muncher or none of that shit, bro. I just feel like, yo, they had a chance. Every rapper had a chance, bro. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I listen to every drill rapper. Every nigga had a breaking point where they say, oh, I could, oh, this song about to be lit. That song got lit and famous until them niggas want to be crash outs and do some dickhead shit to just throw their life away, throw their life in the bin and get sent away in the slammers, bro. And come back now making some trash ass music and shit, bro. You can't ever find another hit, bro. Once you trying to sell your soul, bro, and you trying to do some dumb shit and you trying to find a way to bring your back up to the top, it's gonna be difficult for that shit, bro. That's all I gotta say.
K was arrested in connection with the killing of a 24-year-old by the name of Oscar Hernandez, a case that's remained murky ever since. Early reports claim K walked into a barbershop, antagonized Hernandez, and
niggas say he walked into the barbershop. Bro. He said K walked into the barbershop. That's not how the story goes. And where you get that shit from, that's not how the story goes. That's the wrong story, man. Whatever, the cameras, the street cameras is out there. It's saying that he was antagonized. Basically, K-Fog did not know that there was an op in the freaking barbershop. And they had exchanged words. And you see what Hernandez was tick-a-tucking in his fucking stomach. Yo, we saw the freaking video, bro.
Sparked the shootout. But K has always said it was self-defense. After he turned himself in, surveillance footage.
Are you ready to see the world, but you are overwhelmed with the stress of planning? Well, EF Ultimate Break is going to take all of the stress away from you and make
surfaced, showing Hernandez actually has never wavered in the argument either.
Apparently about each other.
Okay. So without saying too much, you're arguing obviously self-defense. That's the crux.
You know, that could be one of the arguments, self-defense. And I would say to the public, you know, somebody's walking up to you with a loaded, it's pretty clear is going to use it, with a criminal record a mile long. Do you want to get or do you not want to?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate.
For a long time, the future looked grim for him, with academics claiming in February 2023 that the feds just unsealed an indictment on K Flock for a RICO charge and murder. The mandatory minimum if he doesn't beat those charges or snitch is life in prison. He is still facing state charges of murder that have him locked up. Now facing a long list of charges, K Flock's trial began in May, and the fate of his co-defendants offered a grim preview of what could come his way. Most of those alongside him took plea deals to avoid life sentences or worse. Zay Muna and Nick B were handed 15 and 12 years, while Eroy received 138 months, over 11 years, for pleading guilty to attempted murder and racketeering. Even with all that, K has stayed optimistic, insisting that he'll be free soon.
Hey yo, like, I'll be back real soon. Shout out to my fans and my supporters, man. I love all y'all, man. For all of you out there, violence, man. For me, and do what y'all supposed to do, man. For me, get through life correctly, bro. Like.
Rather than being silent, Flock has remained active online from behind bars. Recently, he blew the whistle on the Essex County Correctional Facility where he's being held, claiming that they are currently giving out molded food, which was causing inmates to throw up blood and feel weak. Then he discussed his predicament, declaring that the feds hit me with a RICO and labeled me a chief. But despite his protests and all the debate around the case, K Flock was found guilty and is now looking at up to 20 years in the pen. With that, another budding career was extinguished before I got the chance to get off the ground. But sometimes, an artist has already made tracks towards genuine stardom, only for their long-standing ties to the streets to come back and ruin it all. Sadly, this is where the story of Casanova lies, a famed MC who was once a Celeste of ASAP Rocky, Cass, who'd become synonymous with the untouchable gorilla Stone Nation Bloods, didn't actually join a gang till he was serving time in a juvenile detention center.
I turned blood in jail, you know what I'm saying? Because I started fighting them so much that they was like, man, you down, man. Come on. All right, we hear you. You ain't even Crip, you blood. And again,
you fight for your cookies. There was little stuff like that. That was the trials and tribulations, like the getting punched in the face at a young age. Like, oh my gosh, like you like.
Even with moving out of the country, Casanova built momentum and eventually signed with Jay-Z's Rock Nation, determined to prove someone like him could make it. I'm not a GOAT, but I'm Hope.
Wow, I did not know this. Yo. 2-time signed with freaking Rock Nation? That's crazy.
He told Revolt in 2019, "I'm a prime example of you could do it. A lot of rappers are silver spooned, or they're not who they say they are. They really didn't go through the mud. I'm proof that you can be incarcerated, come home, and change your life around." By then, he knew the streets weren't where he belonged anymore, and he needed to realign his priorities if he wanted the success he'd been chasing.
If the people that signed me don't want me in their establishment, being tough ain't cool.
Right.
They don't want that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, other labels might allow their artists to wild out and troll and do whatever they gotta do to get the artist lit. But Rock Nation ain't with that. They like, I'm happy I'm there because they kinda like babysitting me. You know what I'm saying? So I just, at the end of the day, I don't want to be tough. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that stigma because you can't get no money.
But as his star grew, it appears he didn't fully let go of his gang ties, as he was indicted in 2020 alongside members of the notorious untouchable guerrilla Stone Nation. In the RICO case, members of the crew were accused of everything from firearm possession to conspiracy to distribute narcotics. From the outset, Cass declared that he was innocent and that it was his status as a high-profile figure in hip-hop that led to these charges being unjustly leveled against him.
As you already know, I'm fighting serious charges right now. But I'm innocent, that's one. Two, I've been fighting my whole life, so I'll get through this. But just understand how they can get you jammed up. You don't know nobody, you ain't got nothing to do with nothing, they still get you jammed up. Rappers, we are a target. Just be careful out there, watch who you associate with, watch who people bring you around. I'll see y'all soon, God willing.
But after initially going on the run, Cass was subject to a nationwide manhunt. Then, in December of that year, he turned himself in. His wife Swaggy Jazzy actually documented his surrender on IG, with Cass.
Gamefly is the best way to try new games. Rent it, love it, buy.
Promising that he would be home sooner than she thought. Once behind bars, Cass's lawyers put together a $2.5 million bond package, even offering 5 properties as collateral, but the judge denied it, citing him as a flight risk after his earlier attempt to outrun the law. Prosecutors then built their RICO case with everything from IG posts showing guns and marijuana to wiretap conversations with his gang leader. In the end, they had more than enough to throw the book at him. And the wild part is, Cass had openly talked about how situations like this usually play out.
You go to the feds for a fucking RICO and they offer you 20 years and you're a millionaire. You're telling.
Facing a possible life sentence, Cass was thrown into solitary for 4 months, isolated into a windowless cell to pressure him into cooperating. Eventually, he took a plea deal. While there's no evidence he snitched, Cass admitted to moving between 100 to 400 kilos of marijuana and playing a role in a 2020 Florida shooting, among other crimes. In a last attempt at leniency, he wrote to the judge, claiming he only leaned on gang ties to gain prominence in hip-hop, but it wasn't enough. He was handed 15 years, and turning his back on the crew would soon come back to haunt him. Not long after entering prison, Casanova was stabbed.
These internal reports from correction officers say Senior was slashed with a weapon by another inmate, Ulysses Lugo, and then chased him down with the help of others. We spoke with one officer who responded to the scene.
Inmate Lugo, you couldn't see his face because he was saturated in blood. You couldn't see it at the time because his whole face was saturated in blood and his whole uniform was saturated in blood. Inmate Senior was sitting there and blood was just coming out of his face.
The stabbing came after Cass publicly declared he was no longer repping the gang. In retaliation, inmate Ulysses Lugo slashed his face, before Cass and others fought back, leaving Lugo needing stitches. Afterward, Cass tried once more to gain release from prison, but his requests were denied. Despite all of his potential, his story shows how past ties can block the path to a new life. But not every drill rapper's fate has been the same. Some have managed to dodge their charges and keep pushing forward. One of those is Sleepy Hollow. Alongside Chef G, he's been a staple of New York drill for years, dropping hyped tracks and even helping spark Doechie's anxiety after sampling her Swamp Sessions version long before the official release.
Sleepy, you kind of had another viral moment recently. Anxiety got a whole new set of legs.
Yeah, that was crazy.
How did you find that sample in the first place?
I was scrolling. I seen her freestyle it first, and I'm just like, yo, and then my man sent it to me. And I'm like, bro, I was just listening to the whole freestyle. I'm like, yo, this shit is so fire. So I took her hook part, the anxiety part. I already had a song called Anxiety before, because that's like, I just loved speaking about that topic. That's how that shit came out. Sent it to John. He did the beat. We just went crazy.
Now,
yeah, shout out to Dochi too. Gangsta.
Type, does it trip you out seeing how even she's blown up? And now that song, as of the recording of this interview, that original sample just charted number 10.
Yeah, she did that. So I feel like it just be about the shit that people don't talk about. And anxiety is one of them things. So when somebody do speak about it, it's like fire, because mad people go through it. Yeah, shout out to her.
And while his album sales haven't amounted to blockbuster numbers, he's consistently fared quite well in that arena. Or at least he did until 2024's Read This When You Wake Up, basically vanishing without a trace. Sleepy's latest project may not have produced a hit on the level of Two Sauce or Murder, She Wrote, but at least he isn't locked up. In 2023, he and longtime collaborator Chef G were swept up in a massive RICO case targeting gangs in Flatbush and Crown Heights. They were among 32 people named in a 140-count indictment that tied the group to 12 shootings and even a murder caught on camera. Sleepy was charged with conspiracy to commit murder and gun possession, but avoided jail after posting a hefty bail. Since then, he's kept dropping heat alongside Chef G, and above all, he remains as uncompromising as ever, with his unresolved case still hanging over his head. But where he's still able to forge ahead, his rhyming partner hasn't been so lucky. Although initially released on a huge cash bail, Chef G wound up pleading guilty to attempted murder, but ultimately received a little leniency because there was little evidence linking him to that specific crime.
Counts of second-degree attempted murder and second-degree and fourth-degree conspiracy. The DA had asked for 20 years, but Brooklyn Supreme Court Justice Danny Chun gave Williams 5 years behind bars plus 5 years post-release supervision, explaining, quote, "I take into account consideration that you are not alleged with shooting anybody, not alleged to actually being the person who shot at or did commit the shooting, and that is very important in my opinion." Chef says he first joined a gang at the age of 12 and understands people might find that shocking, but in certain neighborhoods like his, you were assumed to be gang affiliated because of what street you grew up on.
Now facing a 5-year bid, the trapper has been very candid about both his music career and upcoming sentencing in recent interviews.
It's always going to be tough, you know what I'm saying? That's something very hard to prepare for, but it's like you build and you build and you put the right things in place and the right people in place, and you just hope for the best.
Now on the brink of spending years behind bars, Chef recently saluted his girl as the time turning himself in gets closer. With Chef G and Casanova behind bars, many of drill's early innovators have been forced out of the spotlight. Others tried to step in. But for rappers like C Blue, the same traps of the streets came back to haunt them. Born Cameron Williams in the Bronx, C Blue wasn't always chasing rap. In high school, he played sports and even dreamed of being a biochemist. Music, he later admitted, was more about securing the bag than being a lifelong career. But after catching a gun charge at 14, he leaned harder into hip-hop. His breakout hit Ozone put him on the map, leading to collabs with K-Flocked in 2016.
So I have been sleeping on a full mattress my entire adult life, which definitely had
AR, and eventually a major deal with Interscope. That advance money would prove useful sooner than expected. One night, outside a Bronx bodega, cops confronted him. When he refused to take his hands out of his pockets, a scuffle broke out. Then, a gun went off, leading both C Blue and Officer Kasim Pennant shot in the leg. Blue was immediately arrested on assault and weapons charges. Afterwards, he told fans in a statement, "Believe nothing you read and half of what you see. My day ones know what it is. My label and loyal fans are standing by me through this." Although police accounts spread quickly in the media, C Blue would later explain what he says really happened that night.
The real story is I was shot by the police. You feel me? A lot of people troll, say I shot myself. No, it's not what happened. The police shot me. Dad, I was walking to my vehicle, you know, regular going in my car. I was approached. I stopped. I asked the officer, like, you know, what's the issue? Why do you want to talk to me? Why am I being stopped? He didn't answer my questions. He just proceeded to put his hands on my body, and he ended up firing a weapon that ended up hitting me. I personally don't know. Like, he went to grab and a shot got fired. I got hit in my leg and his partner got grazed.
C Blue's team argued he was targeted because he was a drill rapper. After the incident, he was released on $250,000 bail, money reportedly coming from his Interscope advance. That move outraged critics who wanted to see him behind bars. NYPD Police Benevolent Association President Patrick Lynch declared, "The people of the Bronx won't be safe as long as he's on the bench." The individual chose to carry illegal guns twice. He chose to fight with and shoot a New York City police officer. There's no reason to believe he won't do the exact same thing when he's out on the street tonight. Though tried as an adult at first, the case shifted from Bronx Supreme Court to family court before eventually being dropped. Despite widespread belief that he had a gun, the judge ruled that the arresting officer's testimony was useless. It was inconsistent with the video. It was inconsistent with his fellow officer's testimony. It was self-serving. It had no value. Police unions blasted the decision, with Lynch calling it an absurd outcome that should outrage every New Yorker who wants to get illegal guns off our streets. Yet, despite everything, Blue has remained surprisingly calm, saying he doesn't hold bitterness towards the cops.
I don't have nothing against the police. You know, I appreciate the things they do that are good, but I feel that they definitely do target drill artists a little bit more than the average guy because of the things we say in our music. But not everyone who says something lives by those codes and walks around doing those things. But because so like music is art, so everyone is saying these things to reach a different audience.
C Blue's issues with the NYP didn't end there. In September 22, while sitting in a Hyundai, cops spotted a handgun under the front passenger seat. After a tense standoff, he was then taken into custody and held on a $100,000 bond. His lawyer, Don Florian, insisted he was innocent. "My client was outside a car. Police came with their guns out, circling around the block. There's plenty of surveillance footage. Police targeted my client, guns drawn. He was scared for his life. He took out his phone. His hands were up." At the time, Blue was reportedly just trying to call his mother. At the hearing, prosecutors even used his social media and music against him, despite it being artistic expression. Still, C Blue has stayed focused on his craft, recently collaborating with KK Spin and LJGZ, and continuing to rap about the street life, even dissing dead ops and threatening rivals. But if history has shown anything, it's that blurring the line between rap and reality rarely ends well. For New York drill, it remains a dangerous cycle, one that too often leads to either a jail cell or a gravestone.
Facts. Jail or death, bro. Alright, man. That is the end of the video. Comment below which video you want me to react to. Everything you say is actually authentic. Yeah, to all y'all people who out there are making music, are drill rappers, all that shit, you just gotta be careful and be cautious because, like I said, it's two places you will see yourself if you get caught. It's either jail or death. And I wish no negativity on nobody because I feel like everybody got a passion to be a rapper, but I just feel like don't make a drill song if you ain't doing the drill. That's all I gotta say. Cause I know these cap ass rappers. They say, "Oh, spin the block, I spin the beat. Oh, beat. Oh, I got it." No. That's not how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Cause if you ever caught somebody lacking and beat somebody, if you ever caught somebody lacking and beat his ass and palm them down, yeah, you can make a rap out of that. But spinning on the ops and so bling bling bling. Nah, don't do that. Cause you will incriminate yourself, bro.